Hey everyone, this is Sammy Chichester, managing editor of Revolver. I'm here with none other than Maynard James Keenan of Puscifer and plenty of other well-known bands that you love and enjoy. But today we're here to talk about the upcoming live stream event that Puscifer is doing, Philly D in the Hall of Feathered Serpents, featuring Money Shot by Puscifer. Maynard, how are you doing this morning?
Fantastic.
Let's just start here. When Revolver, I want to back up a little bit. With Existential Reckoning, when Revolver interviewed you for the main cover story that we did, you said that Puscifer's mission was sort of to connect humanity with the digital. Do you see this as an effective way of doing so?
Yeah, I think there's a flexibility with these pay-per-views that comes that doesn't come with the live show. We've tried to do some footage and things like that for the live show, and if we do it right, it works. But if you just do some footage, the audio doesn't necessarily translate in a theater. You have to use subtitles. There's a lot of limitations to how you present that, and then breaking off and having, like, for in the case of Money Shot, having actual luchadors wrestling in a ring behind you. Just the sound of them slamming on the ring is disruptive to the performance, because it's coming through all the mics, and it can be. So we had to kind of do that in between songs, so there's all those kind of things we had to stop to do. With the filming, it's you're way more flexible in terms of that. A lot more involved in shooting it and lighting it and doing all those things. But it's a welcome process.
With you doing, and you are performing Money Shot in its entirety, which was, if people do not remember, which is an amazing theatrical performance. I have to ask, why go back and do that? Why bust that out now? Again, that kind of sort of was around 2015, 2016. Why go back and revisit that now?
Well, we're not certain when we're going to get to tour again. So we already showed you Existential Reckoning. So why not? And we had filmed that before, but the footage didn't come out very well. The lighting wasn't correct. So we just figured, let's go back and capture that show and actually improve on it. And we'll probably do the same thing with Conditions and V is for Vagina and everything else.
That'd be great.
Why not?
Why not? What we love about that, like you mentioned, you brought up with the luchadors and the boxing ring and all of that. I have to ask, why luchadors, and are they real? And how do you go about casting them and finding them?
Oh yeah, those are Santino brothers. They're out of Southern California. They're an amazing troupe, and we've known some of them for quite some time. They actually went on the road with us and toured. So definitely check out them and Lucha Vavoom. Wonderful theatrical masterpieces. They're fun, good people.
I have to ask, because I know growing up, you did a bit of wrestling and you do practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. Would you ever suit up as a luchador?
No.
Hard no.
Hard no.
So that said, look, sort of going back, since we are revisiting this time, right, and backwards in your catalog, you've made Existential Reckoning. Now we're going back to your previous album. Do you have a different opinion or outlook on it?
There are things that, every time you finish anything, you always have that remorse, regret, inability to let go. You want to change it in some way. And I think that's definitely the case, now with this, being able to massage things that we didn't get to while touring. So I think that's kind of the benefit of revisiting it, is that you can get better. It doesn't matter what song it is, or what wine you make, or what dinner you make, there's always a thing in your head that you can improve on that, and you can fix it and adjust it, and then you do it, and you feel like, I'm not quite getting this right again. I have to keep working on this. And that rabbit hole you go down. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to fix some of those things.
Since you've mentioned sort of fixing and tweaking and improving so much a few times already, would you consider doing live streams with some of your other bands?
It's always possible, but yeah, it's always possible. I think it translates a lot more with what we're doing with this, just because of the theatrical nature of it already, and the characters that we've developed and presented over time. I know we have a lot of new fans, so they don't quite understand the history of Major Douche or Hildy or Billy D or Peter Merkin, Dick Merkin. There's a bunch of characters that they don't really know about unless they were coming to the shows. So, there's a lot to explore with this band. I mean, we could even do graphic novels. Really, it's something that has infinite little rabbit holes we can dive down. But yeah, I think the other projects definitely lend themselves to something like that too. But I don't know. There's a pretty well-oiled machine here with Puscifer, and when Matt and I get an idea, we could see it all the way through with setting goals and setting milestones and just getting it done.
Yeah, with the band being so, like you said, just having so much involved, so much theatrics, so many characters, so many themes, so much. I was wondering, in respect with you, just over time, everything that you've ever seen, whether it's theaters or shows or just anything with theatrics, what's the most impactful or just influential show you've ever seen?
Watching Talking Heads do Stop Making Sense was quite impressive. Empty Stage with David Byrne playing acoustic guitar with a boombox to start, and then they slowly build the entire show. That was impressive. There's a bunch of things like that. Early punk rock shows that you didn't expect it to sound that good or be that energetic. I don't really have any specifics. Sorry. Black Flag, watching Henry Rollins do his thing back in the day was pretty impressive. Just the energy in the room.
I have to say, with putting together all these productions that you've done already, at least these two, and potentially more to come, like you said, there's got to be all these COVID protocols, and you have publicly said that you've caught COVID twice and that it's left you with residual effects, especially in your lungs. Mm-hmm. Do you still feel those effects? And do you feel, especially with this performance being at the Money Shot, being so tolling, do you feel ready? And do you feel ready to go out there and perform it?
We did it. We've already recorded it. It's a concert film. So I guess sometimes that's the misconception, is that we recorded it live, but we recorded it live. So, multiple takes of each song, trying to nail down the best one and use that as the audio take without messing with it too much and without editing anything. And then now trying to marry various footage to it so it makes sense, because you're filming each take and there's different takes that get, there's different things that look better than other things, and they might not match the actual live take that we did, but made it through. It took a lot of protocols in place when you show up. It's just like any other set in Southern California, where it's antigen tests, nose swabs, temperature checks, sending stuff off to the lab, waiting for it to come back. A lot of protocols, but everybody made it through without without a hitch. So, well, I guess we did the right thing.
Oh, that's great. And then, and like I said, do you still feel anything, or are you feeling good?
I think everything's good. We have I have a pretty strict, not strict, but just consistent workout program, and doing jujitsu is not not easy. So a lot of those things would come up. I suppose. I've heard rumors of heart conditions and things that come up later. I have not yet experienced any of those things, so knock wood.
Wonderful. So I guess I want to talk about where we are in the saga of Billy D. So in the last film, we see him being left in the desert. And now in the trailer for Money Shot, he picks up the briefcase. So is this a prequel?
Yes, but we need to go back even farther. There's a character in our lives, actual lives, named Tim Caliente. And Tim Caliente is a prick. Tim Caliente introduced a briefcase into a video during the Money Shot era. And now we're stuck dealing with this fucking briefcase. And so everything we're doing now is us trying to paint ourselves out of a corner with this goddamn briefcase. And so Billy D, we're trying to connect it to Billy D, and it's a mess. And we want to kill this guy. So if any of you know Tim Caliente, feel free to just walk up and karate chop him right in the neck. He deserves it. Yeah. So Billy D, one of the things we've always said about Puscifer is people ask what it is, and we say, what is Puscifer is what Puscifer is. And then they ask, what's in the briefcase? And we say, Puscifer. So everybody's confused, because we're just as confused as you are, to be honest. Just enjoy the ride.
I guess that was sort of going to be my next question is, fans, it doesn't matter what project you're working on. They love to unravel the mysteries that you have surrounding whatever it is.
Did you ever watch Adventure Time?
Of course.
Did you really sit there and try to unravel that?
No.
Why would you try to unravel Adventure Time? There's nothing to unravel. It's bananas.
Well, your fans and you've seen Reddit, right?
Yeah. I don't read that. No.
I'm not saying I did it, but that these people exist.
Yeah. That's God bless them. Couldn't do it without them, but some definitely go down that Q hole that's unnecessary.
So, I guess the question is it's not whether if they're hot or cold to unraveling the mystery, but more so, what I wanted to ask is, look, whether it's the briefcase and Tim's fault, and when Existential Reckoning came out, I got sent this pin.
Oh yeah.
That people see. I can find no information on the internet about this. So there's plenty of things that are out there that could be. Go ahead.
That's the Puscifer in Black. That's our organization that's trying to get to the bottom of the origin of this case.
Well, see, now I'm a secret agent. So now, look, is there there's no answer to be found, right? It's just the journey, man.
Well, it's more about the characters, right? If you just start to understand, just going back to things like Rick and Morty or Adventure Time, when you understand what those characters would do in certain situations, that's more important than understanding where this is going. Just understanding Hildy. Hildy makes an appearance in not only the pay-per-view, but we just finished up a video for Bullet Train from Existential Reckoning, and Hildy makes an appearance in that. Meets Meyer. We worked with Meets Meyer on a bunch of the animation. Incredible work by Meets. So, you know, it's more about just diving into the characters and not worrying about where they're going.
Buy a ticket, take the ride.
Buy a ticket, take the ride.
So the final sort of discussion I wanted to have with you is a little bit of a sidebar, and it's going to go back in time a little bit. So, you know, as an eclectic performer yourself and someone who really loves the stage performance and has done so many things, you know, it's one of Revolver's most popular website articles ever. In 2007, we asked you who your favorite front people were. And you gave us
what's
your favorite front people.
Fronters.
And you gave us 7 people.
Here we go.
And yeah, and I want to. So I've written them down here, and with a loose quote, basically, of your reasoning. And I want to know if you still agree.
Okay.
And if you would add anyone to the list today.
Okay.
See if we would upgrade to like 8 or 9.
Okay.
So your first choice was Steve Martin, because he shreds on the banjo and his stand-ups were like rock records.
Yes. Standing by that.
Standing by it. All right. You then picked Gerald Casal from Devo because he was an absolute nightmare.
He's a nightmare. He is absolutely crazy in a glorious way on some days and not glorious way in other days. So, you know, you kind of, sometimes you need that crazy guy up front. And he has it in spades.
Henry Rollins for his intensity and his ability to evolve over time.
I think I mentioned him just now.
You did?
Yeah. He is like a fine wine. He has gotten better with age, and always has something, you know, interesting to say. And sometimes he says stuff that I think is absolute nonsense, but that is the beauty of him embracing who he is. And he's not claiming that it's all bomb proof. He's expressing from his heart. And I think that's great.
Your next choice was Bill Murray because he got busted for driving a golf cart drunk.
Yes, he did. And he also got shot in Zombieland, which I thought was unfortunate because I really liked him, and we're gonna miss him.
Then you also picked Joni Mitchell because she did everything in a male's world.
Yeah, she is an absolute rock star when it comes, you know, in that terms of fighting the good fight. Without it being an issue. She was just doing. She wasn't on some mission to prove something. She was just doing. And people kept assigning like, oh, she's doing all these crazy things. She's like, what? I'm just doing, you know, which I think is great.
You then had Patti Smith for her freeform poetry.
Let's come again.
You had Patti Smith for freeform poetry.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she I don't know if I would upgrade that now. No, I don't think so. That in that time period, that insane drug-soaked consciousness of an era, she was a cornerstone of that. So yeah, we'll leave that right there.
And finally, you had David Bowie because he went through so many changes gracefully.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And put out an album after he died, that prick. That's crazy talk. Yeah, standing by that. A very flexible performer.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue with that list.
Yeah.
Would you add anyone today?
Would I add anyone? Well, I would add, you know, of course, I would add anybody that I've worked with because I couldn't do what I'm doing without this incredible list of artists and technicians and amazing people. So but that's too close to home. I couldn't really add them. Yeah, there's easily a dozen people that I would add to those lists, but I don't know that we have that kind of time to dive into all of them. Sorry.
Did you pick one?
I guess, for just remaining true to their flavor and constantly exploring, Polly Harvey, I suppose, would be on that list. Obviously, Nick Cave would be on that list. The trio known as Blonde Redhead, just absolutely adore everything they've done, because there's just a sincerity that comes with all those people. I like that.
Those are good choices. So that was that kind of wraps up my weird and now questions for you in terms of just theatrics and performance and all of that. So I want to thank you for taking the time. If you want to celebrate your birthday, which, by the way, why is the Billy D and the Hall of Serpents coming out on your birthday? Is there any sort of reason?
Yeah.
Would you tell us what it is?
No.
Well, you can celebrate Maynard's birthday by watching Billy D and the Hall of Feathered Serpents. They're doing Pucifer's doing Money Shot in full April 17th. You can infinitely buy tickets, of course. It's coming out soon. Maynard James Keenan, thank you so much for spending the time today. Very much.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it. Having me.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.